All right, we're up on YouTube right now. Just give me 1 second so we can get it on the website. Okay, the link should be going up now, Dr. Van. You're muted.
Please go ahead and make me co-host, and I will go ahead and put the agenda up on the screen. Okay, can you all see the agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so basically we are recording this and we are live streaming it with about a 20-second delay. Remember that after each item, we should allow for public comments. And public comments are to come to our email address, publiccomment@lsbme.la.gov. And so I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Joe, and you can begin the meeting.
Great, thanks. Yeah, do we need to introduce everybody? I think
Probably not a bad idea.
Joe Bordelon, I'm private practice in Opelousas.
All right, I'm Wade Young.
Judson Willard.
Chris Swallow, I'm the director of the Sleep Center at Our Lady of Lourdes.
Melissa Boutte. I'm sorry, my camera is not up and working.
Joshua Johnson, Director of Sleep Lab at Glenwood in West Monroe, Louisiana.
I'm Patricia Wilton. I'm Executive Counsel for the board, and I assist Dr. Collada in anything he might need with respect to your advisory committee.
And I'm Vince Collada, Executive Director at the Board of Medical Examiners.
Okay, last meeting, we didn't keep meeting minutes, but the meeting was live streamed, and I think that's on the website. Just a refresh, we reviewed the open meetings rules. We discussed the status of the rules and regulations. And there was some discussion on, let's say, alternative or positions or pathways. And I don't think we had any votes of any significance.
No, the only thing was more of an announcement that because of the lack of in-person schools in Louisiana, that people who needed to get licensed could train in an online facility that had the same accreditation as an in-person school. And so that was really the big change that we wanted everybody to know about, so that we could get people licensed and functioning for you all.
Okay. So any comments should go to the email as discussed earlier for outside comments. The next item status on the rules and regulations, any revisions and,
Okay. I have a question here. The new law that went into place no longer requires the KHEP program for registered technologists coming in the door. And the rules that we set forth to get approved list in there not only online KHEP programs, but also the online A-STEP classes that are offered through the board as an alternative route to getting registered. And doing it that way, I'm having a couple of people that are trying to do that, and we haven't changed the rules yet. So I want clarification. The new rules that we're putting in place, it's going to be a KHEP program or an A-STEP program, correct?
Okay, first of all, let's go over for the people that want to train online. There really is no difference because the law said they had to be accredited. And that's really all these online courses are accredited by the same accrediting body. So we did not say it had to be an in-person course. It just had to be a course accredited by this educational facility. So again, I think the key here is we didn't have to change anything in the law or the rules to accommodate that. Okay. And let me pull the rules up because let me pull 3354. Okay, so all right, that's the wrong one. I apologize. Let me pull up the right one. All right, let me close that. Tab. And okay. So this is what the law says. Now, is that what you want the rules to say? Or do you want to go define different from that?
Okay, no, what I'm saying is my person that I am dealing with, he did the certification exam by the BRPT, and that gave him his permit. He did that for a year now, and he's taken his registration. He's now a registered sleep tech, and he's resubmitting his application to become a registered tech. But the rules for registered tech say that after 2017, you have to have a KHEP program. And that's part of the new rules that we submitted, the changes we submitted, saying that that is no longer required as a KHEP program. You can do KHEP or you can do the certification pathway.
So what did he pass? What examination did he pass?
He passed the certified examination offered by the BRPT.
Okay.
Right? That's a ESGT. That's only valid for 3 years with the BRPT. It's only valid for 1 year with the State Board of Medical Examiners as a permitted technician. He has since passed his registration exam, and he is reapplying for the registration license.
All right, so let's go to the current rules, okay?
Yeah.
So he doesn't have any of these in item B2, right? That's up on the screen.
See, this is what I'm saying, right? It's not saying or. This is the part we needed to be a graduate of a KHEP accredited program and have passed. All right, he's passed the polysomnic technical exam and administered by the board and all that. So he has part 2 done, but he never took a KHEP course. So that AND right there is the part we need to change in the rules to where you can be one or the other.
All right. All right. Good enough. That's what you want to change, okay?
And
So, go ahead, Ms. Pat.
No, I wasn't me, somebody else.
Okay.
I guess the original rules were that we expected all of the graduates to go through KHEB programs. You know, after Katrina, that got messed up, and that caused an amendment to the law from one of the docs in New Iberia. So I guess we have some people that are kind of sitting in limbo.
Well, the rules are always superseded by the law. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, if he has a BRPT or has completed an educational program by KHEP, he should be able to get his license according to the law. The rules are always superseded by the law.
Yes. And
So
I was talking to Miss Johnson over there at the board, and she was explaining all this to me, and I was translating it back to him. He was under the impression that his license would just roll over, and I explained to him, no, it doesn't just automatically roll over. He has to reapply for the new technologist license. So he's in that process right now. But Ms. Johnson was saying that should he be denied his license because of the KHEP requirement, we can, what she called for, appeal for an exemption.
okay,
But-
so let's go over a few things. If this
Yes.
person, why don't you do the best thing for me to tell you to do is to have this person contact me by email. I will pull the file, go over everything, apply the law as it is written, because the law always supersedes the rules. And the big issue is that what I heard is he held this for longer than 1 year.
Yeah, apparently the permitted technician is only valid for 1 year, but there's a glitch in the system somewhere where it allowed him to keep renewing the license.
All right, we'll fix
So-
all of that. Tell him to contact me
Yeah.
directly and we'll take care of it.
Okay, so the rules that you had pulled up a second ago,
Yep.
that's the current rules that's in place. Yeah,
But the
these-
law supersedes it.
Yeah.
And we
Um,
have to fix those rules, obviously. We need to fix that.
Yeah, and we submitted the changes that we suggested. Do we have a copy of those? Because 3 years ago, when we actually met in person, we did a little breakout groups and we all worked on a different section, and we got together and submitted the updates that we think should be made to these rules. And that's kind of what we're wondering is, what is the process of the rules that rule changes we submitted? Have that gone to legal for approval yet, or?
It is still in process and I apologize. Sometimes things get higher priorities. I'll be very honest. And I will tell you, what the thing we really need to do is get the old minutes, get the old document, get them together. We'll go over them from our end, and then we'll submit them for the next meeting. When you call a meeting, you need to tell me what you want to put on the agenda, Joe, and we'll make sure it gets on there. I
Okay.
apologize that I didn't get the message clearly enough this time. Please forgive me, but email me sometime. It's probably best.
Okay. Now I guess that there's a couple of, besides Wade's friend, I guess, there's somebody in Lake Charles that keeps sending me emails about one of his texts. I guess Dr. Connors, is it?
Maybe
Connor,
Dr.
yeah.
Connors tech, and we worked with him to get his tech approved by, his tech apparently is not in the same situation. Okay.
Okay.
And what I will do is I will dig up what I can on Connors tech and get back to you directly. And we'll talk about that, just you and I, and we'll work together on that. But again, that's a different set of circumstances than what you
Okay.
talked about earlier.
Okay.
Okay, so real quick, after this meeting is over with, the advisory committee members, we need to get together, find a copy of the rule submissions that we had turned in.
I have a copy of the original submission.
Okay, and we just need to review them to make sure everything is still in today's day and age, the changes we want to make.
Okay,
Pat, you want to say something?
I do. If you want to review them individually and then send in any like recommended changes or something to Dr. Collada, that's fine, but you really can't like get together in a separate group and meet separately to work on this outside of the public.
Yes, ma'am. I
Okay.
understand the open
Cool.
rule. I just met because I have a version of the copy I have is only the section that I worked on with
I got
like
you.
one or two people I was with. So Dr. Bordelon has like the full changes. He just needs to email everybody a copy of that so we can review
I see.
individually.
I understand. Okay, perfect.
And why don't you do this? Why don't you all send me copies, whether you have, what you have, Wade, what you have, Joe, or anybody, send it to me. I'll assemble it. We'll put it in the proper format. And then you'll have your documents to work from, and we'll have something what's going to look like the new rules are going to look like when we meet again.
okay.
But
Yeah, okay.
I need that from you, Joe, and I need anything you can send me, Wade. And we'll make sure, I will dig up all the old minutes we have here, make sure we
Okay.
combine everything and make sure we address all the concerns that were expressed in the past.
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
so,
So everybody knows my email address, I trust.
yeah, I do, I have it.
Okay.
I guess, are there, besides the two individuals we talked about, are there any others that we need to consider or discuss for exemptions or exceptions or? Do y'all know of any applicants that we need to be?
I don't know of anybody who's I don't know of anybody who's having issues right now, but I do have another coworker who's a permitted tech, and his permit's going to expire probably in the next few months. So he's going to have to start his application process as well.
Well, like I said, if he runs into any difficulty, tell him to talk to me.
Yes, sir.
I guess how long we need for the rules to be considered before we meet again?
Can you give me 6 weeks?
Oh, yeah,
All right, if you give us 6 weeks, we'll be ready to present to you what we think the rules ought to look like. We'll go over them. They'll be sent to you in advance. You need to make sure that and we'll make sure we set up a spot for you in our cloud share. You need to know how to find our cloud share, and if we'll send information out to everybody on that. You can review those rules in advance. Again, as Pat admonished you, don't discuss them in a group. You can maybe call up Dr. Joe, or one of you can talk to another, but don't do any kind of rolling quorum on anything, please. And we'll discuss it at the open meeting. And then if y'all are satisfied, we'll present it to the board for approval and start the process.
Okay.
okay.
So just to give me the 6 weeks, for my staff won't pull my hair out because they get angry at me. Send that as soon as you can, any documents you have, and I'll get any minutes we can find. And we'll get that as fast as can to get started.
Okay.
Okay, again, anybody with outside questions should submit those questions by email to the board.
Me.
And the next item on the agenda,
Ethics and CGIS training for you all.
correct, yes, I think all of us did some training in December as request, at least I hope everybody was able to complete.
No, I didn't.
Okay, just so everybody understands, the CGIS is a requirement of the federal government because you will be looking at criminal background checked information if you were reviewing an application. And if you don't have that training, we can't let you see that stuff. So again, that is information that you have to complete. the ethics training, as any of you all that are on the board has to take ethics training. And Ms. Wilton is our ethics expert. She might want to comment on this.
If you haven't taken it, you can actually, now, due to the pandemic, you can actually individually go to the Board of Ethics website and individually take it online through them. You don't have to have a Louisiana State employees account anymore. You once previously did. So if you need additional information about that, I can certainly help you with that, or just put in your search box Louisiana Ethics Administration Program, and the front page that comes up will be online ethics training. It is required of everyone who serves as a public servant, and by virtue of being appointed to this advisory committee, congratulations, you are one. And so if you didn't take it last year, so be it. But if you can take it sometime before the end of this year, that would save you from not being in compliance with the ethics code.
Okay, and quick question, this training, ethics and federal training, is this going to be an annual thing that we have to do, or is it just a one-time deal?
It is every year. Oh, and now CJIS, I think it may be 2 or 3 years, I'm not sure.
Yes.
Our IT department handles that, but the ethics is annually. It's an hour. They have not updated it in so many years. I could recite it by heart. But it's just a law. We just have to do it, unfortunately.
Okay, and you said we're going to be reviewing backgrounds and all. Whenever
if you have to, it will be done in executive session, but I can't let somebody into executive session if they haven't taken a CGIS training.
Yeah, okay, well, because my question was, years ago when I first got licensed by the board, part of the licensing process was I had to meet with an advisory committee member for an in-person interview. We're not going back to that. This is just, should we need to review a background, it'll be done in the meetings.
Yes.
Okay.
We are going away from interviews to streamline the process as far back as 2018.
Yeah. Awesome.
Any other comments or questions?
I might state, if anybody might be watching, has any comment they want to make, please send that email to publiccomment@lsbme.la.gov. And we will read those into the record if we're still in session, or we will add them to the record if you send them in late.
Okay, I don't think we have any reason for executive session. Just to review, we will try to send the previous work we did on rules and regs to Dr. Collada, and any comments to him, and look for a meeting sometimes in 6 to 8 weeks. Would that work?
Yeah.
For everybody?
I think you might want to, if you have an extra 5 minutes, if you guys aren't jammed for time, you might want to go in just for a second. I have a little bit of an update on one of the rules. A little bit of an attorney update on one of the rules you were interested in.
Okay.
So we're going to go in executive session?
Just really
Before we
brief.
go, can I ask a question? Hey, before we go, can I ask a question? I may have missed it, but this ethics and CGIS training, where do we get to it? You sending a link? I may have missed that.
We emailed the links to you, so it should have came from LSBME. The CJIS links were sent, and then we sent out either under Olivia's name or my name, just sent the ethics link in order for you to log on and take that ethics training.
We could resend that, just something you think.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a list of everyone who hasn't taken it, so we're going to be getting those links out again shortly.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah,
right,
if
just-
you just want to go into, if you want to vote to go into an executive session, just for a real quick update, I think you might be interested in this.
Jacinta, can you
Hello?
take us into executive session?
I think they have to vote, Dr. Van.
Yep. Once they vote.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay.
All right, we'll be going to executive session in a few seconds. Jacinta's going to make the transition. With those of you that might be watching on the live stream, you'll just wait. If you'll be kind enough to wait till we get back, we'll be back as soon as we finish executive session.
Melissa, are you on a cell phone?
Okay, I think we got everybody back in. Did somebody want to make a motion?
Wade?
All right, I move to include language in the new rule discussions to include exactly who can and what is required as far as persons setting up take-home sleep tests as opposed to DIY home sleep tests.
All right. You need a second and a vote.
I
All in
second.
favor?
Aye.
Yeah. Aye.
Aye.
Yeah. Aye.
All right. Thank you.
Do we, I do have a question.
Sure.
If some of our members may have industry relationships, they're allowed to work on this, or do they have to avoid working on this?
Well, you would have to look at the relationship and the potential conflict of interest that may exist. Okay.
Okay.
And I don't think we can answer the best way to supply that is have that any person you feel is uncomfortable with this, talk to Ms. Pat directly, send Ms. Wilton an email on myself and I'll forward it to Ms. Wilton. And Ms. Wilton will give an opinion based upon the facts that are unique to the situation.
Some of them may have valuable input that we'd like to hear, but they may not be comfortable in voting, I guess. That
Okay.
like if somebody works for a DME, are they okay to do this?
Well, if they work for a home sleep study vendor, I mean, honestly, I really, it doesn't sound to me like we're just talking about licensed versus unlicensed personnel, I don't know.
Yeah,
if
I'm
they
assuming
honest-
that
Go
for
ahead.
sake of discussion, anybody can participate, but when it comes time to vote, if you personally feel like you've got a conflict, you can abstain from voting.
Well, unfortunately for boards and commissions, it's a little bit different than it is for the legislature. The legislature can debate, but just can't vote. Boards and commissions can't participate in either the debate or the vote if they truly have a conflict of interest or need to be recused.
Okay.
Whether or not someone would need to be recused is a highly factual basis. So if anybody honestly does think they have a conflict of interest, honestly, just reach out to Dr. Collada, and I am the ethics liaison for our agency, so I'd be happy to kick that around with you and give you the best advice I can. But yeah, you would have to exempt yourself from both the discussion and the vote if you truly were in a conflict of interest situation.
Okay. So when we get the information, we individually review it, and then we send it back to Dr. Collada, or can we have any interaction fewer than 3 members?
What information do you mean? When he sends out the draft rules?
Yeah.
You can kind of sort of chat with a fellow board member or committee member, not in a manner in which you're deliberately trying to keep it to 3 and fewer so that you don't offend the public meetings law. But if it just so happens that a couple of y'all are in the same room together and you want to talk about something, that's not a problem.
Okay.
Be judged by your own conscience. But if you're actually going to sit down and do actual work and deliberations and stuff, you ought to wait till you do that in front of the public.
Okay. So then is 6 weeks still reasonable? Or we need longer?
It's reasonable for me.
Okay.
All right.
So we can set for 6 weeks next meeting?
Yeah, we'll get Jacinto picked the day in 6 weeks and send y'all a notice very shortly.
All right.
Yeah, I texted Dr. Davis when I noticed she wasn't here, and she says Tuesdays are bad for her. So I don't know whether we want to try to, build it around not Tuesday.
Well, we heard you and we'll try and do that.
Could we do?
Okay.
Is Friday,
Thank you.
Friday's an option? Because
Friday's always an option if we don't have a conflict here already. It's
Okay.
always an option.
Okay. So I think Friday mornings work better for the other two docs.
And are y'all still good with 10 a.m.?
10 a.m., 11 a.m., something like that.
Okay, great. And listen, we appreciate all you do. That's why we want to try and accommodate you, and I apologize for the delay.
It's okay.
Okay. Anything else? Again, any comments should be submitted by email to the board.
And that address is public comment at lsbme.la.gov.
Move to adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you all very much for your time.
Thank
We
y'all.
appreciate it.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Y'all too.